We're Batman at 89. Hello and welcome once again to Batminute 89, the show that makes it rain with joy, not cash, 3 days a week. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
Oh, the other host, Niall McGowan. Would you say it's a purple rain, John?
A purple rain of joy. Yes. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And we are joined on this also beautiful Friday by a very special guest once again. Author, voiceover artist, YouTuber, bard, dreamweaver. It is Kiri Callaghan.
Because you can't get rid of me.
Yeah, you're just now the third host, I think.
Aha! The things that have happened between the last time I spoke to you guys. Oh my gosh.
There's something to do with, like, every time people say, I know you're going for a Garth Marenghi's Dark Place Dreamweaver thing, but every time someone ever says the words Dreamweaver to me, I immediately get that bit from Wayne's World of, like, him looking at Cassandra and getting that Dreamweaver. Like,
Oh, I didn't think of that.
oh, that's my go-to thing. Even every time, every episode of Dark Place, when he says it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, this is minute 93 of Batman, and the minute starts with people gawping at Prince's inflatables, and it ends with the successful redistribution of wealth. So it's pretty interesting.
That's a way to put it.
Yeah. We're back with the big inflatable clown thing that we mentioned last minute, with Prince's trust really kicking into full gear here.
Yeah. And we started kind of talking last minute about, like, the Joker. Does he bought this, or has he had these balloons made, or, like, what's the deal? Because, like, he's a guy who puts on like the Joker branding on everything else, because it doesn't particularly look like Jack Nicholson, the Joker picture.
It
What are you saying?
It looks like it's a bit of a slimmed down. It's kind of like his longer, elongated face, Jack, and all this kind of thing. But then it's like,
Who is this?
but if he's made this big giant clown thing to be Joker-ish, because it's got, white skin, green hair. But then what's with the giant nose? Has Jack got a complex about his nose? And he's just like, I'm leaning into it. I don't care. The balloon will have a huge nose for no reason.
He's gonna, Cyrano de Bergerac. There we go. I almost lost it for a second. Okay, so one thing I will say about this balloon is, while not colored the way it would be, it does remind me of, have you seen pictures of the, like, 1937 Macy's Thanksgiving Parade balloons?
I have not, no.
That's very specific. That's 1937?
It's I don't know. I don't know if that was, like, the first. I might actually be wrong. I'm terrible with dates. But I remember
I was gonna do a very cold callous, like, that's why she's still single, folks, or something. Like, oh, that'd be a horrible joke to make. But
it's true. It's true. I'm terrible with dates in so many ways. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Including the fruit. No, but when the 2016 Ghostbusters had come out, there were those balloons that are possessed or whatnot, and apparently they were based on some of the older, like, original Macy's Day Parade balloons, which is why that they're featured, and that's why I kind of have that date in my mind. I don't know. Whatever. It might not be that exact thing, but that exact date. But around the first time they started doing those balloons, like, there's a guy who's got this giant nose, and they've got the creepy little slit eyes, and it just kind of looks like you took a bunch of those old, creepy, old-timey balloons and just kind of made it into a Joker. I don't know.
Maybe that is what it is, because it's clearly most of Gotham, despite us being very confused about when this movie's set, may I point out, visually it's going for, like, a kind of 30s vibe, isn't it? So maybe that is a thing.
Oh, it's potentially what they were going for. This balloon in particular, though, really makes me think of two things, and, like, it's very Burton-y things, because it looks like it could be like this could be a character from, like, The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy. Like, it's like, looks like one of the little kind of one of his characters he would draw, and then it particularly looks like in Batman Returns when we see the Shrek department store. It's got that weird cat thing with the giant eyes. It looks like it's kind of a prototype of that. It's like it's got the same smile and the same kind of the eyes that are just staring into your soul. You know, it's.
Oh, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest. This is terrifying.
And you guys ever watch the Moomins?
Yes.
Yeah. And I got to look up what you called the thing because I used to be terrified of the Moomins. Like it was just supposed to be a kid. It's still flogging today because I think it's like Scandinavian or Swedish or something.
Yeah, it's some kind of European. We're leaving Europe. What do we know?
I'm just glad you said that, not me. 'Cause dumb American. Wish they would be right. I am terrible with dates.
But there was you call it the Grok or something. But there was an episode of the Moomins because it's like, are you familiar with the Moomins, Kiri? Have you come across it in your travels?
I have not.
They're like, it's a family who live out in a lighthouse, and they're all like little white hippos, but they can talk.
Oh, is that how that's pronounced? No,
Yeah.
I've seen those, and I think I've seen the word, but I've never really said it in my head. Like, it was just like, this is a word that begins with M, and it's hippos, and yeah, no, I did see those. Weirdly, I think I ran into those in Paris, because we found...
There you go.
Or maybe it wasn't Paris. No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Well,
I'm
I
thinking
mean,
of...
they are some kind of European, so...
No, but like, we found a Moomin store, and I want to say... Sorry, my entire trip was like a little bit of a blur. It might have actually been in oh crap, I've lost the name. It's in London.
Oh.
It's where, because we went to Whittard's, not in Chelsea, but we went to Whittard's, got a lot of tea, because it's me. And then we ran across, like, you had to go upstairs, and it was an entire little tiny boutique up these little windy stairs. I'm like, this is just cool. I wish I cared about whatever this fandom is.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Moomins, like the show, it was dubbed into English and shipped over here to us for like a little bit, and it was one of those kids shows that used to have this really creepy things in it, and it's like there was I think it was called the Grok, and it was a thing. It's like when the snow came, the Grok would appear, and he looks a bit like he's got really like it was like a herp, like a all you could make out was like a purple. It looked just like a lump. Like a giant purple lump, and he wasn't smiling, but he had a big, long, wide mouth that was kind of grimacing, and these eyes that just stared like this balloon, just stared into you. And I remember an episode where they were all snowed in their house, and they kept looking outside, and the Grok was just standing and looking at them. And I remember as a kid being like, "What the is this?" You know,
That's terrifying.
And there was another one as well. I remember when Moomin, they're called the Moomin family. And yet the one boy, he gets to be called Moomin, and everyone else has to be a variation on what he's called, which is weird because even his dad is like Moomin Papa. It's like, so when he was a kid, was he Moomin? And then when you spawn another, then it becomes whatever. But
he's written the story, and that we found the manuscript years later and translated it into what it is we know it is today. But we only have it from his perspective. And he just called everyone like, this is my father. This is secretly Moomin is his name, and not actually that particular race of hippo. It's just Moomin Papa, because that's my dad. Moomin Mama, that's my sister. Or my mom. Whoops, this is a really weird, confusing family. I did look it up. It's in Covent Garden. There we go. I was like, I went there. Where was it? If you can go to the Moomin shop. It's literally called the Moomin shop. Go up little stairs. It's really kind of cool.
I especially like the way we are 1 second into this minute. But can
we... Oh, go ahead.
I do have something that kind of ties in with this talk of Europe for second two.
Oh.
Because we see a couple of guys walking along, and they're really taken by this clown thing. Like, they're trying to get everybody excited, like little kids and stuff. But the thing is, like, you see people sat outside on these little cafe tables, having a nice drink outside and stuff. And to me, that feels very European. That's like something you would do in Paris or Berlin. Yeah. Would you do that in Gotham?
Gotham is, and they've talked about it being like such a mix of like New York and Chicago and whatnot. I would say that that's a very common thing to see in Manhattan.
Ah, okay. That's what they're going for. Okay.
It is a little weird to see it at night when there's not a lot of outside light of that coffee shop. It's a little weird. Like, it's just kind of dark. Like, I'm going, if this was really a cafe in Manhattan, so to speak, and it was night, and they're like, all right, you would have outside lighting, but it's Gotham, so they're like, no, lighting is bad. We must be dark and dingy.
But the thing is, as well, Gotham's been established as a horrible, crime-ridden hellhole. I don't want to go to a cafe and sit out having a drink.
It's not consistent, right? Like how how they portray this. You're like, okay, but if Gotham is really this bad, why are there people just chilling outside? And can we talk about this man who gets very excited about the balloon to the point where, I mean, the guy, you only seen for like half a second, but he's at least like 30s. and he reaches out indiscriminately to the couple sitting down having
Come
beer.
on.
They look like they're having lemonade, or maybe it's beer. I'm not sure.
I think it's a beer.
I think it's a beer.
Definitely, it's not coffee shop, but despite the fact that it kind of looks like it should be based on the line inside the building, it's very weird. I don't know what Gotham's about. But he reaches out, much like a child, indiscriminately,
Yeah.
points, and then goes, "Hey, look!" Like,
It's a balloon. A balloon.
like, are parades so infrequent in Gotham that they're like, oh my gosh, you guys, yes!
Well, but the thing is, like, they might be infrequent, but is this not part of the birthday celebrations for Gotham's anniversary? Weren't these balloons expected, or is this premature?
No,
Does
no.
he come in early?
As you might recall, the parade has been officially cancelled. But the
Joker said,
yeah, the Joker said, I'm going to show up with the 20 million. So it could be that maybe these people are sitting outside. And they're like, that guy said he was going to come and dump a load of money. So they're,
But he didn't say. He didn't really say where, did he?
I think he does. I can't remember actually.
Does he give like a street corner or something? Like, meet me on the corner of because that's how he talks.
To go back a split second. But before that guy you're talking about, Kiri, before he comes to sort of like, look, everyone, it's a balloon. There's the guys who, like, this couple sort of sitting having what looks like beers or lemonade. There's people behind them. There's someone sitting at a chair, and it looks like a guy's just flat out sitting on the table. Like,
oh yeah,
really inconsiderately.
And talking to someone we can't even see, because he's definitely not talking to the guy behind him. Because the guy behind him looks very like he's got a million-yard stare ahead of him, and it looks like the table sitter's like talking like if there was a table behind the two guys about to be like, oh, a balloon, but there can't be because that's the sidewalk. So I have no idea who that guy is chatting up, but he's very enthusiastic about it. Like, eh.
It's like a James Stewart Harvey situation. He's like, oh, Harvey, I understand. 20 million going to be dropped in the city center tonight.
that was a great impression, though.
I'll tell you, Batman, you can be very pleasant, or you can be oh so pleasant, or oh so smart. I recommend pleasant. You may have my word. And then Batman changes his murdering ways. What?
This has been like, Batman, I understand you blew up an entire chemical plant to get the one guy who wasn't even in there. Yeah, I'm having a pretty bad night, man.
Batman was neither oh so smart or oh so pleasant.
Do you think Batman? Do you think Alfred knows later on? But Batman comes out, he's like, oh, so did you get the Joker, sir? Oh yeah, I got him. Like, oh, did you get him in the chemical plant? No. Oh, so what happened there? Oh, I blew it up. It's like, so you blew up the chemical. When did you get it? I got the Joker like 4 hours later, like a whole thing in the church tower. Oh, it's a whole big story, Alfred. Like, but you blew up the chemical plant. I didn't realize I was raising a murderer here, sir.
Yeah, he should be repulsed.
Right? It almost seems like, I know in later movies, like, he's more involved and he's apparently making stuff, but I feel like in this movie, and I don't really remember too much about Batman Returns, I'll have to go rewatch that now.
Oh, yeah.
But
do.
I feel like he's very much like, don't ask, don't tell, like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me what you've done tonight, Bruce. I just, here, look, a pretty girl. She's special, sir. Maybe give up this weird cowl thing. It looks real uncomfortable.
He's desperate for him to give it up, let's be honest. But next as well, we see something that caught my eye. There was a sandwich shop. It looks like it's called Quickway. I think that's what it says, Quickway. And it offers overstuffed sandwiches, which to me sounds like a negative, right?
Yeah,
because you can
certainly...
Yeah, well, you can upset the correct ratio by putting too much in, especially meat.
You're not wrong, and you can then you gotta do extra condiments. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, and if it's just a big slab of sliced meat, it takes on a very strange texture. So I'm not a fan of Quick Way. Let me just put that out there. Quick Way needs to go.
That's fair.
But if you looked at at the Quick Way sign, what's like the little cartoon? What's going on there? That's like
What is going on?
It's like a fat guy with blonde hair wearing a cap. It looks like he's got his arm around a chicken and he's like punching it or something. It's weird.
He's choking the chicken.
Oh god!
Oh!
Bring it down.
Quick Way is.
Oh, he's a bit
Quick Way
blue.
is a
He's bit
front. It's a front. It's not actually sandwiches. That's why they talk about overstuffed. Oh.
Oh god.
Oh.
Well, it's Gotham. Gotham's not the greatest, and like a second before you see Quick Way, you see what looks like some sort of prostitution thing about to happen.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a note saying like, is this a prostitute? And I thought I won't say that because I'll sound a bit insensitive. I am so happy you brought it up because
But it's a weird moment. It's almost like this weird Dick Tracy like angle all of a sudden. Like we're in a film noir, and it's like, so where did you see them? What happened to the John? Well, he wasn't. Like, this is a detective thing happening down. I don't think he's soliciting. He's, like, grilling her for information. We're going to find out more about this guy and his fedora later. As they're backlit behind a diner that looks like it's run by a supervillain.
I do love this guy, yeah, because what's he saying to her? He's like, listen here, see? I want information on the Felducci gang.
They took a lot of money. Simoleons, see? Greenbacks, man.
I mean, talking about greenbacks, you're going to see quite a few of them.
I don't know nothing. Could write a whole story just about these two.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Her super 80s hair.
Yeah, again, what era is this damn movie set?
I don't know, because all the men are dressed you're right, very much like it's the 30s sort of thing. And then this woman, and like all the women are dressed very 80s.
Yeah, and it's established that Prince is a thing in the universe. Because people are listening to Prince on like boom boxes and stuff. So.
I think Vicky's shoulder pads in every scene have like a role of their own. This woman's overly feathered hair, which just makes her fuzzy jacket stand out even more.
It's beautiful.
What is happening?
But then even after that, to move into the next, we're on like second 3 now of the minutes.
No, we're second 8.
Oh, second 8.
Yeah. I backtracked and now we're moving past that because we talked about Quick Way, which is a front.
Because next we see the balloon in almost its full glory. I suppose this thing is huge.
Yeah.
And we can see that the guys controlling it do not know how to control a balloon. It's tottering about down the street real awkwardly.
What is that? What you thought, Red? Because I saw them pulling it with the ropes, and my first thought was, "Oh, I didn't realize that's how you moved those. I'd never considered how they move."
Oh, with ropes? Yeah.
I just thought they moved of their own accord. I don't know.
And I feel like people should they move of their own accord. Oh.
They just go.
Oh, honey. No. Balloons, they're not like the Batmobile. They will totter about in their own free will unless you tie them down.
Gotta rein them in.
But I feel like people should have been a little suspicious because most balloons are not held that close to the ground.
Yeah.
Like they are below, that balloon is below the street lamps.
Yeah.
And that's not a good sign.
It's covering Joker for most of it. Like people can't see him.
I think that might be like a thing for the film. Like this is like his reveals. Like it was the Joker the whole time. And it's like,
No, you don't say. Because the balloon, I would have thought.
Although, seeing Joker on this cake float.
Yeah.
Right. My first thought was that I was really hoping that instead Jack could have burst out of the top naked wearing a sash.
Oh gosh.
Would have been like ta-da!
Or like a hat like the balloon has, but just over his bits, like just balloon hat. There we go.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
In my mind, went to naked Joker Jack. I immediately pictured him as having green nipples. I was like, well, would that be the case?
No, because that's not hair, but at the
maybe
same
he's got
time,
hair on there.
Oh, I'm thinking way too much about Joker's nipples now because you're right. Like it's a skin discoloration. Would they be red like his lips?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they'd be really, really red.
Because it's the same sort of like tone-ish.
Yeah, same skin. That kind of. Oh God, this is like the 5th time we've talked about nipples on this podcast.
And I think I've been here for at least 2 of it. I'm sorry. Just going back to nipples. I'm sorry. It's just they're funny.
Nipples are just amusing to everyone, I think, especially
I need
Jokers.
to stop imagining Joker nipples. This is very upsetting. Oh.
I also love how much like Joker and Bob are really getting into the swing of things. Like, look at them go. Hashtag Boker for life.
Oh, but man, Bob's dancing is just like, this is dad dancing 101. Like, what? Look how lame he is. But the thing is, he can't dance for but he's having the time of his life. He's so happy looking in this
He's like a drunk uncle at a wedding.
Yeah.
You gotta remember though, Bob is a very white man who is somehow working for a much whiter man.
You thought you couldn't get any whiter? Well, look at what
Well,
we've
Bob,
got.
meet the Joker. Right before that reveal, you see the up close of the balloon, and the nose actually really bothers me because it looks slightly deflated. And in fact, because it does, it's got like little weak points where it looks like it started to lose a bit of air. And I'm actually curious if maybe they had trouble during this film keeping it inflated for the length of the shoot.
I actually didn't see anything specifically talking about it when I was looking, but it very well could be the case. Maybe I just it was an oversight on my part.
Because it's a big thing they've got to tot it about, but there's a few shots where like the extremities look like they're already leaking a bit, and we don't get to this point in this clip, where they reveal what the balloon does, but it somehow actually looks more inflated by the time it starts releasing gas, and I'm just the inconsistency with the balloon inflation weirdly bothers me.
I am trying while we're on the air right now, trying to see if there's any problems with the balloon. But there's not a lot of information coming up. I'll be perfectly honest.
That's fair. People probably weren't as fascinated as I was, because like you see Joker, and then it like on second 18, you can very clearly see the nose that is dipping down into frame. It's lost some air.
You're right.
It's deflating, and it bothers me. Maybe it's the stage manager in me. I don't know. I'm like, we gotta put more air in that thing.
Tim Burton's not very forthcoming with information on certain aspects.
Yeah.
And this is one he doesn't seem to mention. So I think that's going to have to be in our headcanon.
Oh, maybe it was his DIY project and he's upset, so he doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe he
Tim.
crafted all these things by hand.
No.
Poor guy.
But I do feel a bit bad, though, in the fact that there's very clearly a hierarchy of goons going on. Because Bob, obviously, he's second-hand man, so it makes sense he's up there next to the Joker. Then we get I think it was referred to earlier as Fedora Goon, even though Bob also has a fedora. So,
I can't hear the word fedora and not just think of people online tipping their hat and saying "milady."
Yeah.
Right. Well, technically, most of those people are wearing trilbies, and that upsets me that they don't. And I'm like, that's not a fedora. Your brim is too small, you prat.
They don't spend the 5 seconds it would take to look up what the hat is.
But speaking of that hierarchy of goons, like, okay, so going back to, like, you got that shot where you've got the far shot and unfortunately deflated noses in the shot, kind of reminding you of a little bit of a limp dick. I don't know. But there is a guy who's a bit portly standing right by the 200 with clearly a very large gun.
Yeah. That's Mac McDonald. He is the Red Dwarf, Kiri, like the TV show. He's the captain of the Red Dwarf. Is he? That's the same guy. Yeah.
That's so crazy. But regardless, the captain with the Red Dwarf is holding a very large gun, like prominently displayed. So if the Joker, having not proven any reason to trust him at this point, wasn't enough, if the really creepy balloon that is suspiciously low to the ground wasn't reason enough, Gotham, why do you go towards a creepy-looking float with a man on the front holding what looks to be some sort of submachine, automatic, I don't even know what?
Hey, he's just there to make sure that this money gets into the people's hands. He's got to protect that
standing there
cash.
like full-on Captain Morgan, like with his gun. What is happening?
Well, I'm guessing maybe the reason because I think there's another guy who's hidden behind the two. I think he's also got a gun.
He does, but at least his gun is behind the two.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other guy who's like, bam, like, here's me and my gun, don't I look cool? And citizens of Gotham are like, let's go to the float, guys.
But I'm assuming, though, that the guys with the guns are at the front because one of the other main questions is, like, where are they coming from? How long have they been on the road? And why haven't the police stopped them at any point? Because you think, like, that guy, that crazy guy who poisoned the cosmetics says he's told us where he is going. And the police have not shown up to stop him. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Gordon is terrible at his job. We were actually theorizing about this because I'm a big fan of the animated series, and that's probably my favorite Gordon. But the guy, like the casting of Gordon in these films before we are graced with the wonderful Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what is happening? Because there is no way this guy is commissioner of Gotham City Police. There's no way. And if so, he's got to be on the uptake, or he is so incompetent. He was put up there specifically so he could bumble everything up and the mobsters could do what they please, because clearly this man is not doing his job even remotely. Like, he's just choking on a jelly donut somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, the crooks have definitely put him there because they know he's ineffectual. He can't do anything. He can barely get his damn sentences out in this movie.
I mean, the most memorable scene beyond, like, other Gordon scenes I remember with the Pat Hingle version, including Batman Returns, Batman shows up and saves the day, and he's storming off, and Gordon's just going on up behind him going like, oh, thanks so much, Batman. That's his entire contribution to the whole movie. The third one, there's this whole business of the Riddler's out there. They know where the Riddler is as well, because he's in that friggin' island shooting up the thing into the bat signal. And Gordon's just there, he's just standing by the bat signal going, okay, I guess Batman's not coming. We better go home. And then Batman shows up and he's like, hey! It's like, dude, you should be having, you know where the Riddler is. You can track where that light's coming from. Why aren't you going
to doing something? Also, I don't understand how this man even knows how to operate the bat signal, let alone put it up there. Like,
he has people do that for him, maybe.
I don't buy. Yeah, but if all of, like, I don't know, I'm going off the canon of like, oh, so much of the Gotham City Police is corrupt. And I'm like, I don't understand how this city functions.
Oh, none of it makes
at all.
Sense.
It doesn't. It just doesn't. It bothers me. I was just saying, you're right. How did they get the float down here? Because to do actual float, like, I don't know how much parades you guys do over in the UK.
Oh,
none.
But like, they're very, very few.
But here, like, if you got a parade, like, they close down so many roads just to ensure you don't see a float before the parade starts. So I'm like, how? Also, what is the traffic in Gotham? Like, I don't understand. Does no one drive? Because the streets always seem to be devoid of cars.
Yeah, there's not very many. That's going for that 30s vibe, I think, where very few people have cars.
So maybe that's how, I don't know. I want to know how this got here. You've got my wheels turning. But I did interrupt you. What were you going to say earlier?
Well, it's something that bothered me. I think I've brought this up before, actually, Niall, was, like, how much money are people really expecting to get home with here, right? Because you're probably only going to end up with a few bucks, realistically, surely. Because he's driving along, throwing money, but the whole city's out in force. And, we know that most of the people in this city, seemingly, are criminals. So you're going to get mugged. You're going to get attacked. You're going to get jumped. You're not getting home with anything. Yeah. You're not going to have, like, $1 million.
Well, that's it. Because this whole situation reminds me, when he starts dumping the money, it reminds me of the Crystal Maze, which is, I don't know, do you know the Crystal Maze, Kiri? Because it's a British TV.
I don't know the Crystal Maze.
It was hosted by Richard O'Brien, who did, the Rocky Horror Show, and the guy who, like, wrote his riffraff in the film and stuff. But it's like, yeah, it's great. I loved it back when I was a kid. You go through, like, a series of different zones. You're like a team, and you have to, like, a mental. You choose to do a mental game or a physical game and stuff, and they'll send you into rooms, and you have a certain amount of time to do the thing. And at the end, if you're successful, you get a crystal. And the amount of crystals, at the end, you go to the Crystal Dome, which is a giant crystal. And they go like, what? You've got like 5 crystals, you get 50 seconds in the Crystal Dome. And what they do is they have fans in it that blow around tokens, and you're supposed to grab as many as you can, and then whatever you come out with, that's your prize. But from seeing that, people barely ever got anything in the Crystal Dome. That was a concentrated little area full of notes, and people still came out with virtually nothing. So you'd have very little chance, unless you're just like going around the street in the gutters, just picking up the money. You're not going to be able to grab it midair. That's virtually incredibly difficult. So
extremely.
I've never understood that in like those cash telephone things they used to do in weird little. I don't even know if that was actually done. I've just seen it on TV about TV. But like, now flow about the money. Like, why didn't you just crouch down and grab it from the floor?
Yeah, what the hell?
Like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, screw the stuff floating about you. Like, just go, all right, I'm going to trap you with my body, and I'm going to go down and grab it. There we go, done.
But this reminds me as well. Like I was saying last minute, they had the deleted line of the Joker saying, like, oh, come meet me, and so. I'll kill 1,000 people an hour unless you do. And now you see the establishing shot of the float coming down. There's nowhere near 1,000 people even in that street. So I guess maybe it's just like, oh, I was really overshooting that. Like, I think maybe kill the first 20 minutes. I think I'd take about everyone out. It's just like this.
We didn't have enough extras, or maybe you know what? Maybe this is actually a testament to the intelligence of most of Gotham.
Yeah.
Where most of Gotham said, no, we're going to stay home. We're going to be far away from the major streets. This seems like a bad plan. And I'm a little sad that Joker does not acknowledge his turnout for his Doomsday event is kind of
yeah, that's not the right thing.
He's really excited. I'm like, bro, this is a terrible turnout. Like, if this was actually during a real parade, you'd have like people who had camped out to watch it. Like, people get really weird about parades. Even in places where we have them all the time. It's like, guys, come on.
I kind of want one now. Niall, let's throw our own Batman at 89 parade in the final episode.
So you have to try to craft that particular balloon. And
then release gas onto... Wait.
But also to make sure it's film accurate, we have to make sure it looks ever so slightly deflated at the beginning.
Throughout the whole thing, it's weird.
I have a question here, which I hope you can answer, Niall, because this is kind of your forte. Well, after of course, we see Bob being like funky Santa with his bag of cash. But anyway, is this outside the Monarch Theatre?
I think the thing is, what we've seen of Gotham in this movie is about maybe 2 streets wide. Yeah. So I think it's probably going past like the Flugelheim as well, and the Monarch Theatre, and the Cathedral. It's City Hall as well. Everything's in the one street.
That's what confused me, but I'm sure you see at the end of the minute there what do you want to call that? The facade of the Monarch Theatre, the sign and everything. So everything is just opposite each other.
I think it's just a very small set, and this is like we just had to. If you weren't watching this minute by minute, you might not notice that everything's the same buildings all the time, but it is totally. But yeah, this is like that cathedral you've seen a million times. It's right beside that sandwich shop you've seen a million times. It's right beside the Monarch Theatre, which is also next to the museum. It's just all this kind of thing.
Gotham's a lot smaller than we think.
Yeah, seemingly. Because I got the impression the Monarch Theatre was kind of out of the way a little bit, and like down an alleyway and around the corner. But no, it's just on the main street apparently.
Which then makes it really even more strange that not everyone should know about the Wayne murder. The fact that Vicky has to investigate at all is the weirdest thing to me. Yeah. Like, these super rich people gunned down outside of apparently a major thing. How does everyone not know that?
It's crazy. Doesn't make a lick of sense yet again.
But another thing I was shocked to see is like now the Joker, they've got these bin bags full of money. It's just struck me the fact that like this is just basic black bin bags. Joker's a guy, he painted a megaphone orange in the previous minute. It just seems strange to me. He's like, oh, you didn't put any effort into the bags.
Did you want Joker branded, hand weaved like sacks?
Oh, well, like maybe like even just like a purple sack or a green sack or something. It seems like, but there's like no black bin bags. That's all he wanted.
I mean, you can get orange trash bags pretty easily, especially if you're anywhere near Halloween. So they must manufacture them. So
wonder why they didn't go with that.
I don't know, maybe he was just like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna go subtle. I'm gonna go classy with this one and just be black bin bags. I'm not gonna. I think I think the giant balloons are probably gonna be enough.
I feel this is more of a black bag affair, you guys.
Well, it's something bad is going to happen. Maybe it's like a mourning kind of thing.
No, that suggests that he'd be sad about it. We know that is not true.
I'm leaping to conclusions here. I do like in the original draft, actually, the money. This isn't in the finished product, sadly, but the money is revealed to be fake. And it's got a picture of the Joker on it. Much like he had earlier at the Flugelheim Museum. And it's in the comic adaptation as well, but it's not in the movie.
Like, if these people thought he was going to actually throw out, like, real money to them. And I want to know, you've got the people around the float, and then you've got people further out on what looks like this little balcony thing around a monument. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Even a guy's climbing up there to get it. And I'm like, guys, it's paper. Money is paper. It's not going to get to you that far away. Like, do you understand? They can throw it out. It doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere. Like,
yeah, it's not the easiest thing to throw.
It's not like they've got a t-shirt cannon. They're like, you want some over there? Well, here you go. Boom! No, it's...
Now I really want them to just stuff a t-shirt cannon with money, a cash cannon, and just fire
cash
it.
Cannon! It still wouldn't go that far, because paper is just like wind.
Yep.
One thing we've not really talked about this particular minute all that much is the song that's playing. Again, Trust by Prince. Sadly departed. Are you a Prince fan, Kiri? Or were you really into his stuff? Or
I like some of his discography. I can't speak. Words are terrible. This is why I have editors and I don't speak. Oh wait, I do. But I wasn't. I definitely am by no means a diehard, and it's just. So I will not pretend, but I do think that they probably used so much of this because it was such a fight to get a song at all from him, let alone the one they wanted. So they're just like, we're just gonna use all of it. Like, just run the track out, guys.
Every second.
Plus, too, I think maybe it's like, we built this whole friggin' giant cake and we built the balloons. Let's just dwell on the scene for a bit and take it in. A lot of
production went into this one bit. You're not wrong.
Well, you want to enjoy it, and it kind of fits the parade theme. People. They're trying to have a good time. You want it to kind of drag out a little bit, don't you? You need to build.
Maybe that's why they're like, we can trust this guy. He's playing Prince music. It's fine.
Yeah, like, nobody bad would do
seems cool. Like, I mean, it's Prince, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But here's the question, though: Prince versus Danny Elfman. Oh. Who do you prefer?
Who do I prefer? Well, I don't feel like that's very fair. They're completely different genres. But I will admit...
it's totally fair. You have to decide right now, Dan.
I mean, that's fair. Fine. I probably am more prone to listen to Oingo Boingo than I am Prince, to be honest. Let that be a mark against me. But I'm the weirdo who likes to listen to the strange, like, sort of music.
To be fair, we love both of them. So
I mean,
any answer would have been fine by us. Well, I do have one last thing that I liked with this. But in the original draft, I really love the description that you get in this, because it goes thusly. And there, atop a mountain of roses, where the prom queen should be, sits the Joker, smiling, waving daintily at the rioters and looters, presiding over the carnage like some demented parade marshal.
I believe in the original draft as well, it does sound a lot more chaotic, because I think he blacks out the city as well.
It really does, and this just sounds sort of like, I don't know.
Yeah, this is just like, he showed up in the parade float, and it's just sort of throwing money at people, and it's like, yeah, a couple of people are there. But like, in the original draft, I think he shows up in a helicopter first to dump the money, and then he appears in the parade float a couple of minutes later. And again, the city's blacked out, so people are trying to get the money, and then there are other people flat out just looting places. So it is a
why did they cut out the blackout? The blackout would have made this make at least a little bit more sense. Like, this is how we got there. This is like, okay, this is...
And I want that chopper, weird. Because prom queens always enter via chopper.
Right? I want a daintily waving Joker. I feel like the Joker was written with a little bit more playfulness in mind than I feel like Jack Nicholson was willing to do. Like... he's got a very different kind of playfulness, whereas
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like that would have been very like, there's no way you're going to get Jack Nicholson pretending to be a prom queen on top of this float.
With the little dainty. Ooh.
I'm very sad that that's true. Like, I want him to have a little, like, tiara and just be totally mocking it, being like, oh.
Oh, that'd be great. A tiara, but it's like bent and twisted and like there's a big dent in it and stuff. That'd be
He's
cool.
just like, maybe slightly bloody. You're like, where did you get that?
Yeah. Oh, this would be amazing.
What happened to the woman originally wearing it?
A clump of hair stuck to the blood.
Oh. Let's just rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah, just gotta
Lot
get
darker.
Tim Burton on the phone. We've made improvements to the script.
Listen here, sir.
Yeah, we could just George
got beef.
Lucas it. We'll just CGI this stuff in. It's fine.
Oh, God, no.
Special edition coming soon.
No. Oh, man.
But in terms of actual notes for the content of the minutes, because I think I'm out, because there's a lot. We get another like solid minute of essentially this kind of stuff. So I'm kind of saving some things for next week. So I'm noted out. Kiri, is there anything you want to, about what's happening within the minutes you want to bring up, or?
No, not really. You know what? It's funny. I will say the money that they're throwing, it definitely does look already fake. Like, I know you said it's not brought up, but there's something about the way it's moving and its shape. Like, I just paused it, and it looks too big to be real money. But maybe Gotham money. Like, have we seen actual currency in this film? Like, maybe Gotham money is that way. I don't know.
Well,
It's not really in the U.S. Turns out.
Well, I found out recently that American money is smaller than British money because you can get one of those. No, you're gonna have to beep this, Mr. Editor. Yep. You can get one of those wallets from Pulp Fiction that says "bad motherfucker," and I saw on the reviews anyone buying it from the UK was like, "It's too small for my money. It's poking out the top."
Yeah, no, it's true. Because all of ours is smaller and uniform. And it threw me for such a loop when I was there last May, June, who knows? Because I was going like, this is all different sizes and it's not working in my wallet because I'm going to lose some of it. What is happening?
Oh, the wonderful differences. I love it all.
Now is usually the time, though, like in the final episode of the week, we usually ask the guest, about your history with the movie and with Batman in general. So, do you have any particular memories of seeing like this particular film?
My brother was a big Batman fan growing up, which is probably one of the only reasons we owned this movie, because my family, I have a very weird relationship with movies around this time of year, this time frame. Like I have huge gaps where I like need to fill in, because my parents are Mormons, so we weren't allowed to watch anything R-rated or like anything particularly too scandalous, and I was actually a little surprised going, this made the cut?
There's even a song called Scandalous in the movie.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's within the rating range, but I'm wondering how closely my parents really watched it, because looking back at it now, I'm going, this is all right. Okay, this went over my tiny child head, but they would have caught this. But so most of my experience with like the Tim Burton Batmans was very much, my brother was very into Batman, and the sort of like, especially the gothic look of it, of like, oh yeah, it's so dark, it's so gritty of the time. Oh yeah, it's great. Batman's got guns, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, it did seem pretty dark then when you compare it to other sort of superhero things that you'd had. This was considered pretty dark.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah. For a while, even, like, because then Batman went super camp for like 2 movies.
And then insanely dark.
And now it's kind of coming out the other. Like you see, like they went into the deepest, darkest hole in Batman versus Superman, and then now in Justice League. I don't know if you've seen it, but like they kind of almost do him a bit too light again. It's like, why can't you people get the balance of this character right? Like it's
they don't. I don't know. I feel like Affleck is not having fun. Like, no. I feel bad because he just seems like he's very miserable being Batman. Like,
it's a shame as well because he always wanted to play Batman.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's just the way they've done it, but I'm like, this is a guy who literally has branded his weapons to the point where everything has a little bat flare, and yet he's so serious all the time, and I'm like, come on.
It makes no sense.
You have batarangs. They are literally boomerangs shaped like bats.
Which he's presumably handmade, I think we've mentioned before.
Yeah. So it's like, where... All right. Like, he's just... Batman's become one of those overly serious cosplayers where it's like, it's all about the craft.
Oh, God.
And you're like, oh, this is so fun. And they're like, no.
You can't have fun. How dare you?
But in terms of like this movie, and amongst the Bat canon, where would you rank it? Do you think? Is it like, because you seem to have like quite? I was surprised at how much beef you seem to have when you came in. I was like, oh, she's here to draw blood. I mean, this is.
You know, it's. I used to like. I had such great memories of my brother with this film. No, it was something that you kind of just watched for fun, and then like I watched this knowing that I would have to dissect this 3 minutes, and now I'm like looking at the whole film with that mindset and going, there is so many holes here. Like, I feel like it thinks it's, because again, it's like, oh, it's Tim Burton, who takes himself a little bit too seriously sometimes, I feel like, which is, I'm like, a little silly, because, sir. But it's weirdly camp, unintentionally, in certain places, where they've just gone, plot holes, who cares? And it's just a bit strange to me that, like, takes things so, we're gonna blow these people up, I am so angsty, I am Michael Keaton, and I'm so full of pain, but I also hang upside down. Like, it can't figure out what it wants to be, I feel, a tiny bit, and it's a bit, I don't know.
Yeah.
I almost feel like the Tim Burton Batmans are a bit Samuel Beckett in their absurdism.
Controversial on this show.
So Tim Burton himself could be like, whoa, that's a great compliment. What are you talking about? Samuel Beckett, that's incredible. He's like, I didn't say you were Samuel Beckett, Tim. I said your films were vaguely like that, okay?
It's the Samuel Beckett Batman. It's a little absurdist. It doesn't quite answer all your questions. And you can either play it real funny or you can play it dead serious. But either way, your audience just is kind of going, huh? All right.
So what like within the Bat movies and stuff, are you like, so you're Nolan fan? Or are you like, no, animated series? Are you Adam West? Like,
I am definitely animated series. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Nolan films, but I feel, again, DC with its cinematic universe, it just keeps missing on so many different things. And I think it's just this inability to understand that you gotta play, like, you can't have just all grit and you can't have all camp. Like, you gotta...
Yeah.
You gotta find the balance, and it's strange to me that after so many years, Batman, I feel like, is still cinematically not quite found his mark. And as much as I like the Nolan films, like, I like Batman, but I don't quite... Or rather, I like Bruce Wayne more in the Nolan films than I have really in other places, because he seems to actually be having some fun. And, like, I don't know. It's a little weird. Like, it's not quite there, but it's at least closer. At least in the first and the second. I'm not really sure how I feel about Dark Knight Rises. I watched it like once, and then I have not gone back. So.
Yep, I saw it once in the cinema, and then I've not seen it again. I wasn't keen on it, as Niall can attest to. We came out of it, and I was like, it was okay. And then as a day passed, I was like, wait a minute, no, it wasn't.
No, but that's how it goes, where you're just like, you have your impression, you're like, oh, all right. And then you start to get indignant about the time that was stolen from you.
Yeah,
because you're like, wait.
I
was lulled by the darkened theater and the other people and the energy. But now when I've taken moments to think about it. But I would still watch these before the Schumacher. So...
Well, I mean, no. If would you be interested in returning next year as we
my gosh,
delve into
yes.
Batman Returns?
I mean, I still find it really fascinating. Is you're like picking things like, I have so many questions. And...
I mean, if you think this one is a bit weird,
oh
that next
no,
one
no,
is
I know.
like next level.
And it's just
what?
yeah, and you get
yeah.
to see Danny DeVito doing his thing, and just Cobblepot is I have very vague memories of how he was in.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, so I've definitely come back. I would also say the Arkham games for me are really high up there.
Oh,
yeah. Big fans
I loved Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, although Arkham City was very confusing to me as a concept. Like, the fact I'm like, wait, we've built an entire... All right, whatever.
Crime City.
It does take that little bit of, like, you have to get past this one little... this one.
You do. Like, because it's a very strange... Just the initial concept of Arkham as a city. Okay, fine. But I enjoyed the game. Arkham Knight has some issues, but I still enjoyed it.
I thoroughly enjoyed all of them, and like even with Arkham Origins, because people really lay on to that. And I'm like, no, if you gotta go around gliding as Batman, all the game needed is just bits of gliding around Gotham. I'm sold.
I mean, you're not
100%.
wrong. I had so much fun with just my hook shot and gliding. Like when they're like, look, the Batmobile. I'm like,
Oh, that was they sold the Batmobile to you so much, and I'm like, I like gliding, man. I'm happy. I don't need the transportation. Like it's
those times where you couldn't go up on a gargoyle and like hop around the room. I was so depressed. That was one of my favorite things to do. Just like stealthily take people out. I loved that. That was great.
That's how I win every encounter. Basically, I just swing around the gargoyles. Yeah.
We'll just be like, are you right below my gargoyle? Okay. Boom, boom, string them up, and they're like, oh, help me. And then I wait until that guy is like, oh, I'm going to cut this guy down. What happened? I'm so confused. Oh, no, I've been replaced him. Oh, it's great.
Genius.
Repeatedly hearing, I'm Batman, as I play through the whole thing.
The amount of times I remember at one point I solidified my love of Arkham City is that I think it was a bit you had to break into the GCPD.
Yes!
And there's a bit, the one guy left, you had to take him out. You weren't supposed to knock him out, you had to interrogate him. I remember the thing he came out with as I was playing, like, he has all the stock phrases he says, and he just went like, what are you, man? And I just, in my head, went, I'm Batman, and glided down and got him, and I was like, oh, this game is like the greatest thing ever.
So you just say it out loud, and my roommate at the time would be like, can you just stop? And I'm like, no.
Crime waits for no one.
Justice.
Anyway. I could talk about these games all night. But
yeah, sorry.
No, we'll do a special just about the games, and we'll come back for more chat. Maybe that'd be fun. But we should probably head off into the dark night and let our good listeners enjoy their Fridays.
Yay!
We're taking you into the weekend in style, with fun, with Prince, with Joker, and with Kiri, of course. Where can our good listeners find you and your good works online?
You can find me online under Kiri Callaghan. I'm very easy to put into Google. I've got a website. It's got my blog and updates on where I'm appearing. And you can also read about my book, which is called Alice, A-L-Y-S. It's a modern interpretation, very loose, of Alice in Wonderland, dealing with dreams and nightmares. Working on the sequel right now. I've got, you can Twitter and Facebook. I'm everywhere. Like, you turn around, you're like, there she is again. YouTube, Twitch, it's upsetting. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, if you've not had enough of us as well, I mean, I'm sure you have probably by now. But if you haven't, we are also everywhere on the internet. Just look up Batminute89. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're easy to find, but the first thing that comes up. So look us up, send us a message. We love to chat to everybody. Even if you want to insult us, that'll be fine. Do it. Whatever. But make sure you give us 5 stars on iTunes. Nothing else. Apparently you can't give under 5 stars. That's what you got to do. 5 only. Okay? So even if you hate us, just give us 5. So do it. And we will be back on Monday. We will have a new guest. Sadly, Kiri won't be here. But the guest will be fantastic as well, I'm sure. So see you on Monday for Minute 94.
Next time, talk about a cakewalk. As a Titanic treat trundles a beat down Gotham streets, will a nut on the crust still throw currency to the Gus and bust a move to Prince's trust? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.